Today, I will be talking on missions and evangelism in Nagaland with focus on the question, must Christianity look the same in every culture? The history of Christianity in Nagaland saw overwhelming conversion, but at the same time, destruction and erosion of culture in terms of material cultures, indigenous practices, traditional songs, dances, etc. So, what pushed me to pursue this topic is that during the process of conversion, the Nagas were made to feel less about their own culture, and I wanted to see if the same approach is being used by present Naga missionaries. So, the learning of lived theology that tries to understand the voices of ordinary people further pushed me to pursue this topic. When the American Baptist missionaries first came to the Naga Hills, they were met by Nagas who were deeply rooted in their culture and in their traditional practices, entwined in the spirit world. So, entering this non-Christian world, the missionaries tried to put a stop to the old religion and practices such as headhunting. But while doing so, they also looked at the cultural life of Nagas as unchristian and prohibited practices that were central to the Naga life. The missionaries used education as an entry point in their mission, and schools were set up where many converts and locals attended the schools. They also translated the Bible into local languages, which further helped spread Christianity. Healthcare facilities were also established that not only looked into the health of the locals, but also imparted the concept of sanitation and hygiene. Through all this, the American missionaries sought to bring to the hills a new culture altogether. The Christian identity that the missionaries envisaged to bring was one that imitated the Western Christian, and they rejected the indigenous culture and the life of the locals, and instead tried to replace it with a life and where they came from or they knew, perhaps with the best intention, but without much sensitivity. So in the wake of such a social, cultural and religious conversion, Nagas were left with a sense of inferiority towards their own culture. The same approach continued even as Naga converts shared the gospel with other Naga tribes after their American predecessors left, and they took the same approach of spreading a very Western Christianity. Some believe that it was during this time that the Naga indigenous practices was further abandoned. And researchers have also found that during this time, traditional attires and ornaments were gathered and burned, which lasted for weeks. So now coming to the present context, where Christianity in Nagaland is over 175 years, and missionaries are being sent all over the world. I want to see how the current missionaries, their approach is in their mission work. So for this, I sat with a young pastor who had spent 5 years in a mission field in Assam. So talking about his experience, he said that he built a genuine relationship with the locals through sports. He would often play football and volleyball with the locals, and he went on to say that teams from neighboring towns would also come and invite him to be part of their team, and they played in bigger tournaments together, winning some trophies as well. So through all this, he developed a bond with them, built a relationship with them, got to know them on a personal level, which helped him in his missions. Talking about this, he also mentioned about a fellow Naga missionary who, having grown up from the village, he knew the process of paddy plantation. So he would often help the locals even in their paddy field. So blending with the locals in their culture, in their work, instead of them blending with ours, helped really helped in the mission work of these Naga missionaries, and it fostered deeper understanding of each other. And he said that he showed his human side, which helped the locals to open up, and families or villages that were earlier close to conversion or coming to churches slowly open up to them, he said. And from this interaction, something that I observed, a shift that I observed, was how they try to incorporate the local style and the local culture, even in their faith, practicing of their faith, such as using of dole or the traditional music instrument instead of using the guitar or the piano in the church, and how he said they encourage them to sing their tribal choruses and not teach them Western hymns. He also went on to say that apart from teaching them the biblical knowledge, the foundational biblical knowledge, they conduct their church service. They let the locals conduct the church service in the local style, such as men and women sitting separately or taking off their shoes before entering the church, as is done culturally. So interacting with this young pastor filled me with hope. I understood from our interaction that they were open to understanding and accommodating diversities of other cultures, and I thought this was the way forward. The idea of world Christianity tries to negotiate the unity and diversity of the church, and this church comprises different cultures, different people, different stories, different histories. So and this difficult route can only be navigated through understanding and sharing the lived experiences of these races and communities. And when it is understood that all stories and all cultures are different, we realize what indigenizing our faith or indigenizing Christianity really means. Looking at the journey of Christianity just in Nagaland alone, and how it caused psychological and cultural damage, one can understand that Christianity is not a one fixed size where all communities can fit into. Whether it is the Christian, whether it is the Western Christianity or the Naga Christianity, it has to adapt to where it is planted. And so with Christ being steadfastly placed at the center, Christianity can and Christianity should look different in all cultures.